Welcome back to Kempf Fitness Professional. This is another hybrid workout tutorial, and we have step downs with bent gorilla single arm rows and Swiss ball knee tucks. This is the second round through of 2, and so I've added a rep to all 3 exercises. I'm going 6 reps on the step down. I'm using kettlebells here, and then 6 reps each arm on the gorilla row, and then I'm going 9 knee tucks. I did 5, 5, 8 the first round, timed myself after I finished 3 sets. I rested for 2 to 3 minutes, and this is the second round through. So you'll notice that split squat that I'm really emphasizing that same position as the split squat with the kickback. So it's really focusing on trying to load that front leg and be as light as possible on that back leg as I can. In the bent single arm gorilla row position, it's just like our bent 3-point row, our row from the box or the step, but now I've changed my arm position to right underneath me, so I'm just supporting my own body weight a little bit more. So there's a more core challenge here, but it also is a good position to challenge that wide base, which we'll be doing more of later. The Swiss ball knee tucks are quite a good hip flexor exercise, and you can really get that little bit of pelvic tilt at the end that will help to activate more of the low part of the rectus abdominis, the low core. So that little tilt at the end there, drawing the hips up as I bring the knees, the thighs to the chest, is where you can really get that little bit extra. And I also like this exercise because it's a great handstand practice. It's a good regression in the sense of teaching your upper body how to stabilize the hips over the shoulders and prepare for more of that handstand push-up, which are going to be later on down the road in the progression. So that torso angle will be slightly bent forward as we come down, and I'm actually using the box as a guideline for the back foot. The top of my foot is just lightly grazing all the way down the box to give myself a little bit of a line of traction, which helps me really reinforce that pattern and activate those muscles better. And the box height I chose was 18 inches because you'll notice here with my foot up on the box and my other foot just flat down on the ground with my front leg loaded, I have my hip and my knee almost exactly on the same height. That's what I'm looking for, somewhere around that femur bone parallel to the floor. You can eventually, with range and control, take that to a deeper flexion position in the hip, having the knee above the hip joint. But as long as you're around that same plane, hip to knee, then you'll be getting plenty of range out of it. If you can't get that high before having your core collapse, first off, practice the split squat with the kickback more and work on more of your anti-extension core movements like your planks and the toe-pointed planks. And you can also lower the height of that box and just work on getting comfortable in that more step down position that is kind of an in-between from the single leg squat and the split squat variations we've done. Notice here that I have my shoulders just above my hips. I like that angle. You can get a horizontal spine if you want, but keeping the shoulders just above the hips and dropping the hips by bending the knees a little bit, I find with people allows them to maintain just a slight bit of extension in the spine, which I'd rather have in a loaded horizontal row pattern like that than I would if they had extensive flexion through any parts of the mid back or lower back. Then again, you can see here that I've got the wide hands. Key note on these knee tucks that the lower down the ball is, down your shin, the harder this exercise will become. and you may have to play around with the foot position a little bit to get comfortable at a position that allows you to follow through with the full range of movement and complete it, but also give you enough challenge and put the ball in the right position. So that'll just take a little bit of practice and maneuvering around, and it depends on the height of the ball. But just keep that in mind, that exercise can get a lot harder dependent on position of the Swiss ball on the leg. You don't want it all the way up to like the thighs or the knees, but you also will have a lot harder time if you have it closer down to the toes. So keep that in mind. And also on that, the higher the hips, the harder it gets. Okay, last set through here. I'm definitely fatiguing where I'm getting a little bit more of that weight shift and using that calf of my back foot to push off a little bit. I'm kind of right at that tipping point where I can't go much heavier or many more reps in this circuit on this day when I did this workout without compensating enough to where I would feel like I'm taking away from the benefit of the exercise. Okay, and then I get more control the slower I go, the lighter I go, the more I can really load and keep the tension where I want it in that exercise anyway. Those are really challenging, especially in this circuit. I've got one more set of the gorilla rows, just panting for life right here. And again, just a keynote reflecting back on that step down. If you don't have the ability to adjust the height, if you're just stuck with a lower implement, then you can load that more because you can't challenge the ranges of motion as much. If you had a higher platform, but you didn't have weight, for example, you could just work the higher position with body weight and still get quite an adequate challenge. So you can get creative there. I'm fatiguing here too. You can see I'm almost going into flexion. I'm still in that straight position, but I was definitely not in my best technical effort there on my last set out of 6 on those gorilla rows. I'm pretty beat by the end of this workout, as you can tell. This is the last set of the knee tucks. I've got my toes pointed here so that I can drag the ball up with the top of my feet. That gives me the ability to get my hips up a little bit higher. I can come up to my tippy toes as I draw my knees into my chest. So this is my second set through. One round for 3, then another round for 3 with an added rep.